Paschal, yesterday I know that you put out a number of remarks going into the Eurogroup today, and there's one line in particular that I thought was quite interesting and caught my eye, in which you say pulling stimulus too early, too quickly, may be more risky than doing it too late. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to me that sounds like you're advocating to perhaps suspending the deficit rules for longer and keeping on that stimulus on the table. Is that what you're going to be telling the rest of finance ministers today?
They are decisions that will be made by our colleagues in the European Commission in due time. What you saw in our Eurogroup meeting yesterday is you saw consensus amongst all ministers regarding the continued need to support our economies at a time of such strain. You mentioned the recent forecast from the Commission in relation to the performance of the euro area. It's worth noting that in the final quarter of last year, we saw our economies perform better than we would have expected. And overall, we had an outturn for last year that showed less decline than we feared, but still significant decline and still too many without a job in the euro area today. We're all determined to do what we can to restore economic health as well as public health, and our focus will be on what is the right budgetary policy for the euro area, and our colleagues in the Commission will make a decision on the fiscal rules in due course.
Okay, and you know, just because investors really care, and we know, I mean, this is not a secret, that this is really a source of debate, potentially even tension in the rest of the year over what to do with the fiscal rules and that debate. Yesterday, there was no sense, or you didn't get a sense that this is a debate that is coming imminently, or did you get a sense that actually this is very much on the table and finance ministers want to talk about the rules as soon as possible?
Look, there's always debate, and in the very fact that you are putting questions to me about these issues is in common with the issues that financial markets are raising, that analysts and parliaments are raising all over the European Union and indeed across the world. And it's understandable regarding why those issues would be raised with myself and my fellow finance ministers. But I think there's two areas of certainty that are worth noting. The first one is the consensus that is there regarding the need to support our economies. Massive efforts were put in place in 2020 last year. Now, on top of our automatic stabilisers, which is the effect of our social welfare systems and our tax systems, additional supports of 4% of the shared national income of the euro area were put in place. For this year, we have the Recovery and Resilience Fund that is coming, a signature development from the European Union to support our economies at a time of great difficulty. So all these things are happening. And then the Commission have indicated that at the start of March, you know, they will be outlining some thinking on the issues that you're raising. But the overall picture at the moment is one of a coordination within the euro area and a desire for all of the European institutions and finance ministers to work together to help our economy to recover. And we're determined to do that, Maria.
Right. Right. And you mentioned the recovery fund. And, you know, I want to pick up on that because we know that this is a move that's been unprecedented. The European Commission has been tapping markets and rather well, I should say. But there's also a number of officials who behind the scenes, they tell you it's difficult to come up with a good recovery fund for 2022, 2023, when you don't really know what the fiscal framework is going to look like. Would you say that's a fair point?
It's an understandable issue that has been raised at the moment. I think, though, issues being raised about the fiscal framework in 22 and 2023, while they are still very important issues to be resolved, we have all of 2021 ahead of us, and we've lots of decisions that we can make at the moment that will improve the economic and employment conditions in 22 and in 2023. And my fellow finance ministers within the European Union and within the euro area were very much aware of the need to be able to answer those questions in due course, and they will be answered. But when we are looking at, at questions that still need to be answered, issues that are there in the future, let's, I think, also acknowledge the agreement that is there regarding the measures that we have in place. And we're going to be beginning those kind of discussions on the basis of all that we agree on and the beneficial effect our measures are having at the moment in supporting our economies in dealing with this disease.
And Mr. Donohoe, I have to ask you a final question, but I want to go back to your home country. Right now, NatWest is doing a review of its Ulster Bank unit. Given the repercussions that pulling out from that unit could have, are you confident they're going to stay? Do you have a sense of which way that decision is going to go?
Well, this is a commercial decision that has been made by NatWest, and it is a decision that they will be making, and I believe they're likely to make an announcement on soon. I have been engaging with NatWest on this issue, and I've emphasised to them the really serious consequences that there would be if there were to be a withdrawal of Ulster Bank, which is the bank owned by NatWest, from the Irish economy. They're a really important employer and investor in our economy. I don't have a latest update regarding what their plans are. They're commercially sensitive, and they will also need to engage with their own employees as well. But I expect that I will be informed in due course. And to emphasise again, while our economy is doing very, very well and is recovering, of course, any change in our banking landscape is a matter of concern to me.